I'm TR Fuentes McKenzie, and you're listening to the Edible Origins Podcast, where we explore the roots of our local food system and celebrate the farmers, ranchers, chefs, and communities that nourish us. Today I'm chatting with the owner of Swamp Daddy's Cajun Kitchen, Inkka Beaudion. Thank you all for taking the time to chat with us today. Can you tell the community a little bit about yourself?
Yes, so my name is Inkka Beaudion, but I go by Inkka Beaudion, just for those that really know me in the more casual realm. Born and raised in Louisiana, moved up to South Dakota in 2007, I believe is what it was, and lived here ever since between Sioux Falls and South Dakota, Pier. And yeah, I've got an amazing husband and 3 beautiful girls. And I absolutely love what I do, being able to provide food for my community, sharing a bit of my hometown, a bit of where I'm from with the people that I share community with. So yeah.
Well, again, thank you for joining us today.
Of course.
We always start this podcast with the same question, which is, what is your food origin story? What are your first memories of food?
That's a good question. Whenever I have been asked, done many different interviews, and people ask, why do you do what you do, or what made you start, why? And I think back to the impact that food has had in the people that I grew up with in Louisiana. And so, you hear the statement of food is the way to someone's heart or to their soul, like sharing a plate of food with them is the ultimate way to connect with people. And so back home, I noticed that my family, we were always sharing a meal with other people, whether that's a barbecue, people come over just drinking beverages, alcoholic beverages or non for the kids. Outside, and just the communion, the happiness, the laughs, the time that we were able to just have friends and family come over, and it was the food that really brought us together. And so for me, it's those moments that I remember as a child, seeing the impact from my parents and family members whenever they would cook, how that impacted the people that were surrounding us. And so that's something that really made an influence in my life. I didn't know in the beginning that it would have this much of an impact as far as for my career, but that's one thing that made a lasting impression in me, and that carried on even after I grew up, even before getting to where I am today. Just loving to always host and have people over and to cook for people, just to see the enjoyment that they get from it, and the community, the communion, the love, the fun that happens around a plate of food.
So is there any particular dish that a family member made that was like your favorite when you were growing up as a kid that you really liked?
The first thing you asked this question, and the first thing that came to mind, and it might be different across depending on when you ask me, but right now what came to mind was my grandpa's turtle soup. Okay. That is something that really, that I really enjoyed, and I wish he had a recipe for me to follow. But just like a lot of people back home, there's not really measurements. You just throw stuff into a pot based off of what you got access to, and just make it taste good. But that's something that I really enjoyed. And from then, I remember my mom making the soup, and it was a whole experience because we had to go and get the turtle, kill the turtle, butcher the turtle, and then eat the turtle. So we got to be a part of the process from beginning to end. Not every single time we had turtle soup, but when my mom did it, yeah, we had that. That was a part of the experience.
So since we're in South Dakota here, not too many people have experienced turtle soup.
Absolutely not.
I've got to have it one time in my life, but can you tell us what's in that soup besides turtle? How was it made?
Well, it was a red sauce, so tomato based whenever my papa made it. And there was a lot of the traditional vegetables that you see in a lot of Cajun, Louisiana inspired dishes, the Trinity, the bell peppers, the celery, the onions. And so there was that in there. some seasonings and the turtle. And so, and served over rice. And it seems like the most basic thing, because you talk about a sauce piquant, you break down jambalaya with rice, bell peppers, and sausage and chicken. It sounds basic, but I think what really makes a lot of the dishes that we do is the amount of love that you pour into it. You know what I'm saying? And so, and then seasoning, like they say, until your ancestors say stop.
Right. You talked a little bit about the family cookouts, and I know that I've spoken with other people in the South, and when they say family, it's not necessarily your blood family.
Absolutely not.
That's right. Can you? That is maybe a thing for some folks here in South Dakota, but can you talk a little bit about the importance of family?
Yeah. So for me specifically, this really hits home because whenever I moved to South Dakota, it was just, I had no family up here. And moving away right out, I went to college and then moved from there to South Dakota with my, at the time, boyfriend, Julian. And I felt completely isolated, and I was lost and had all of the emotions of being exciting about being in a new place, but also as I spoke on like how connected we were as a family and friends, and you do a lot of things together. I was really missing that whenever I came here. And so over the years, we've been here for almost 20 years now, and I've been intentional about creating those relationships with people because that is something that you're right, blood isn't always family. And so I've taken the opportunity to really build relationships with people that I have had the opportunity to get connected with. And the people that show up whenever it's Christmas or Thanksgiving or these holidays and birthdays are not just blood relatives. There are people that I care about, that I have created this special bond with. And I think sometimes, in some cases, those relationships are even closer than blood family. And so I think that it is really important for everybody to really understand how important it is to have relationships with the people surrounding you, and how valuable those relationships are and how impactful they can be. And that's something that I've really grown to appreciate, is the friends, the family that I have been able to be connected with, that I know I can call if I need them to watch my girls, if I need them to come over, if I'm having a rough day, if I need to vent, or if I want to just go and have fun. I've got people that I can call on to share some of those special moments with, and I think we all deserve that.
Yeah, hearing your story makes me think of our first interview with Chef Sanaa, how she moved from Washington, D.C. to South Dakota, and she didn't have no family, and she tried to kind of build that community and got into, I'm going to build my community by nourishing people.
Yeah.
So very similar story. It's interesting to know both of you as friends and those similar stories. I want to switch gears a little bit now and talk about how Swamp Daddies came to be.
Sure.
So can you tell Swamp Daddy's origin story?
Long, long ago, once upon a time, no. So I was in corporate world for quite some time, and working the day-to-day operations and grinding for someone else, another corporation. And I realized that this wasn't my passion. This wasn't what I felt like I was meant to do. And I realized that I am putting a lot of work in for someone else and to make them reach their goals, to make this company some money. And it wasn't really benefiting me the way that I wanted it to. And I wasn't being fulfilled by that. And so I did some soul searching, and I wanted to see what my purpose was in that moment. And again, I know that's like one of the big questions a lot of people want to ask themselves is like, what am I meant to do? And so just understanding like what makes me happy, what makes, me tick. And I know that one thing that I love was food. Did I go to culinary school? No, I did not. And so a lot of the things that I've learned over the years are self-taught just through watching a lot of TV, self-educating over the different platforms that is accessible to us between YouTube and Pinterest, Food Network, and watching other chefs and going to other restaurants, seeing how they do. I was like, what do I love to do? And so I took food and I took people, and I was like, I want to open up a restaurant and people are going to just enjoy my Southern cooking and it's just going to be amazing. And never had I owned a business before prior to Swamp Daddy's. Well, I take that back. We did a cleaning service, Julie and I did on the side, but it wasn't really nothing. But we were reaching out to some friends of ours that own businesses, and they were like, you know what? A restaurant sounds good and all, but this is a new concept to South Dakota. And so you might want to just start smaller and see what people think before starting a whole restaurant. And so we took their advice, and we talked about a food truck. And so we were able to get a food truck, have that for a few years, and be able to just really change up the menu, try, put out some different things for people to try. Me and my mother-in-law mostly ran it, and my husband helped out every once in a while. That food truck lasted me about 2 kids at some point. And so it was a lot of fun. I absolutely love the fact that it was flexible. I could move around, I can change up my menu. I can talk with people as I'm making their food for them and just like really build relationships, again, building community with people. And it was just a lot of fun. It was very different than the operations of a restaurant, having the food truck. And it was something that I really enjoyed. And through that growth of being able to serve people for over 3 years with the food truck, it led us to opportunities in the Jones building where we were sought after to be one of the first group of people to open up a business in this building. And so it was another adventure, and I'm like, yes, we've done good for these past 3 years, let's take it to the next level. And we have just been doing that gradual growth over these past years. And it's something that I've really appreciated, because we've had a lot of customers come back and they would tell us, oh, I remember when y'all had the food truck outside of Wiley's serving jambalaya. I really appreciated that. And having those customers start with us, even before we had the food truck, we would do pop-ups under a canopy at different festivals and stuff. And so from the canopy to the food truck, to our smaller spot down the hall here in the Jones building, to now where we are right now, we've really been able to touch a lot of people through our own growth process and build a lot of relationships with people. And so I have just enjoyed being able to have the opportunity to share what I grew up with on the daily was this food, and to be able to share it with my people here in good old Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and beyond.
Right, and I'm hearing all this joy in your voice, but I know that there's been struggles too with this place.
We don't have to talk about that. Okay, we don't talk about Bruno. No, we can talk about it, because it's not just all like peaches and cream. Correct. There is challenges for sure. Some of the challenges we've experienced from start to finish, honestly, is what makes it worth it for me. Because if we were to just give up after the first challenge, I would not be able to get where I am at this point, a full service restaurant. And I will say that it is very challenging. There are many a times where I thought that I just really wanted to just give up. Maybe this isn't for me, because whether it's either slow and it's financially difficult for me to continue, or we've had some freak accidents that happen, glycol, fire, flood, things like that have shut us down for a period of time. Even this last time of being closed for 8 months. But I look at those as to a time to reflect and really persevere. And so I honestly, what I keep telling myself is that if anything were to happen and I decide to move on or transition to something else, I want it to be because I chose to do it, not because something else pushed me out or something else was that determining factor. So because it was my choice to start this, I want it to be my choice to wrap it up and pass it on, or whatever that next phase or stage would be. But
yeah, not only do you nourish the community through your restaurant, I want people to know a little bit about what else you do outside of the restaurant for the community. I know you're involved in Juneteenth and other things. Can you tell the community what else you do outside of the restaurant?
Sure. So one of the biggest responsibilities that I have is to ACE Collective, which is a school that started about 5 years ago. And our family was one of the first families that joined the school with our daughter. And I'm also a board member for the school, so I help out with the day-to-day structural, back end, front end, and everything in between operations with the school, and which is a lot of fun. I also am on the board for Juneteenth, which is an event that we incorporated and now is led by the community. And so I've been doing that for the past 4 years, I think it is, which is a lot of fun. And I also am on the board for the African American History Museum. I help out with Face It Together, and what else? There's so many, I don't know, there's so many other things, any odds and ends, but as far as for like a lot of the things that take up the time, and outside of like helping my husband with his nonprofit that he had started, and then now, helping with the campaign that he's running. So there's always something going, and I can tell you that there's never a dull moment in our household between the nonprofit world, the entrepreneur, being a mom, being a wife, being a friend. There's always something going on. So
what is the key to not being tired every day for you? Because
Celsius.
I don't know how you do it. Honestly.
Honestly, I feel like I do not have the code, but one of the things that I've said from the jump is that I do not want my business to run me. I want to run my business. And that's my motto throughout anything that I get involved in. And I'm going to be honest, I struggle with balancing because I am involved in so many things. Sometimes all of those things lack because there's just so much involvement from the top to the bottom. And I am still balancing and learning how to allocate my time and how to make sure I value my time. Because when I look at my kids, which my daughter is here with us right now, I look at like they're only going to be this age at this time. And so I want to be able to make sure that I follow my passions and do the things that I'm interested in because I deserve that. But then I also want to be there for my kids and be able to have experiences with them and with my husband. And so it is a balance, and everybody has their own Rubik's Cube that they're trying to figure out and solve. And I just literally take it a day by day and drink Celsius.
Okay.
Yep, that's what I do.
Looking towards the future here, Inkka, what are your goals and aspirations for the future?
Well, some things that I'm looking to do, I don't want to say on camera. It's off the record.
Right.
No, but I know that this is not, Swamp Daddy's right here is not my end goal. There is things that I want to do outside of this, and I am still figuring out my path to what that looks like. But what I do know is that I want to be able to try to help as many people as I can in the process. And so whether that is giving people the opportunity through employment, through helping people get connected within the community of other nonprofits, different resources that is accessible to them. I want to just continue to build as many relationships as I can, and make an impact, positive impact, and to be able to share whatever resource that I have accessible to other people. And one day I'll figure out what I want to do whenever I grow up.
Right. Well, also in the future, Inkka and I have a dinner coming up. We're going to do here at Swamp Daddy's, a pop-up dinner in your own restaurant here, September 28th at 6 p.m. in the Jones Building. There's still tickets available, folks, just so you know. Inkka, can you give us a preview, a little snippet of what might happen that night?
Yes, I'm really excited about this dinner because it is one that we can just focus on these plated dishes for these people. We get to make the plates all pretty, and so I'm really excited about this. And I know we are finalizing the menu on it, but I can assure people that they are going to love whatever we put on this plate. I know we are going to be very creative, going to be tasting some dishes that is going to be different than what you traditionally see. It's not going to be any chislic.
How about turtle soup?
Hey, maybe we should do a little turtle soup. Maybe we should. I don't know. Since we mentioned that, maybe we should do it. That would be nice. But yeah, I can assure, like we were saying earlier, you know, we're going to put some South in your mouth for sure. So definitely get your tickets, come to the event, let us know, and be a part of this experience that we're going to create for you for sure.
One last question, Inkka. Is there anything you want to tell the community while you have this platform in terms of the local food movement, in terms of, you know, encouraging people to build community? Because I see that in you every day, and I appreciate our friendship and everything that you do for the community.
I will say first, to anybody that is thinking about whatever their dream may be, not necessarily to start a restaurant, but just whatever your dreams and aspirations are, you are the one who will be writing your script, you're paving your path. And do not let, just because you don't have experience, do not let that experience be the thing that stops you. You create your own destiny, your own path, and just go for it. Absolutely just go for it. Because if you would have told me, you know, 20, 30 years ago that I would be owning a restaurant and in Sioux Falls serving, you know, people, I would have thought you were crazy, to be honest with you. And I just want people to know, like, just take a chance on yourself. And because that's what I did for me. And that was one of the best things that I could have done, is just take a chance on myself. And I encourage people to do that for them, and because you deserve it. And just continue to be kind to each other, you know, build relationships, love on each other, and just have fun, because life is too short to not take a chance. And so just enjoy and come to Swamp Daddy's and eat.
Yes. Well, Inkka,
shameless plug.
Inkka, I really appreciate you taking the time in your busy schedule to have a conversation with me today.
Of course.
And we appreciate you listening to the Edible Origins podcast. Stay connected with us and join the conversation on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Share your thoughts, ask questions, and be part of our growing community. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Until next time.